rise to life, from death to immortality. Oh, peace, peace, peace.
July 1885, the day of Rath Yatra, Thakur Sri Ramakrishna came to Bagbajar at Balaram Basu's house. Narendranath was there and he sang many songs in the living room of Balaram Basu. This Rabindra Sangeet was one of them. The meaning of the song is like this. I have made you the polar star of my existence. Never again can I lose my way in voyage of life. Wherever I go, you are there to shower your beneficence all around me. Your face is always present before my mind's eyes. If ever I step the wrong way, your shining face make me ashamed. You are indeed the North Star of my life.
Swami I'm reading from the book. Swami Yatishwarananda, as we knew him, Reminiscences of Monastic and Lay Devotees. One day, Swami Yatishwarananda remarked that self-surrender was not, after all, such a difficult feat to achieve. Instantly, Swami Turiyananda corrected him, saying, "True self-surrender is possible only when, like the proverbial bird that has set out to fly ashore from the mast of a ship in mid-ocean, but then returned weary of the effort, clueless as to where land was, and sat in perfect resignation upon the mast. The yogi, having expended all his energy in attaining to the truth, and yet failing to grasp the incomprehensible, sat in perfect resignation, in utter dependence upon Providence to show the way. Strange are the ways of these mad lovers of God, and stranger their modes of teaching." One day, Swami Turiyananda sent Suresh, that is Swami Yatishwarananda, on an errand. But the latter, instead of scrupulously following instructions, acted on his own impulse and incurred the displeasure of the venerable monk. A volley of rebuke followed, whereupon, beholding Swami Yatishwarananda's sad face, a strangely tranquil Turiyanandaji consoled him, saying, "Don't you feel nervous?" No sooner had Yatishwarananda gathered his wits on hearing these comforting words than the saint once more embarked on a verbal tirade. Yatishwarananda was dumbfounded at this strange alternation of the Swami's moods, but in his own spiritual insight made him realize that Swami Turiyananda's real intention was to help him overcome the obstacles in his spiritual path, and could understand that this was only a surface phenomenon. Swami Turiyananda had revealed on another occasion that illumined souls out of compassion scold the aspirants and thus remove the dirt accumulated from birth to birth. Swami Turiyananda said to Yatishwarananda, "Know your brother disciples to be none other than your Guru." He also told him, "Nayamatma pravachanaina labhyaya." This Atman cannot be attained by mere lecturing or sharp intellect. Kathopanishad. Practice hard, be up and doing now. Surely the Lord will bless. These words remained imprinted in Yatishwarananda's mind. Then he referred to the following song of Ramprasad. "O my mind, you know not how to farm. Such human soil went fallow, O mind, would have reaped gold if tilled well." Referring to this song, Yatishwarananda inquired of Swami Turiyananda about the concept of the mystic seed formula. Swami Turiyananda replied, "The tree is potential in the seed. Ceaseless, self-effacing spiritual practice leads to spiritual absorption and self-realization, then becomes easy to attain. Without dedicated spiritual practice, no attainment is possible in spiritual life. He who is calm, pure, and self-surrendered realizes God. Realization is the soul of the Vedanta, and realization is the fruit of hard spiritual labor. The scriptures are but the messengers of the one ultimate truth. Whosoever the sportive Lord chooses to reveal the truth alone can comprehend it. We live only to behold the Beloved, do His work as an instrument in the hands of Providence. Such a state of utter self-effacement and resignation indeed is the state of the living free. Yes.
Now a short period of meditation.
Today's topic is Sharanagati and Pariprashna. It's Sanskrit words for self-surrender and questioning, inquisitiveness, the asking for the path, for the way. In the Gospel we often read that people come and ask Sri Ramakrishna, what is the way? That's called Pariprashna, the directed, objectified question that will lead to the good of the self. So, Pariprashna is not simply questioning whatever you like, but it has a purpose. So how it will clear my doubts and my queries will be fulfilled so that I can transform towards a betterment of my inner life. That type of question is called Pariprashna. That's why this very significant word comes in the Gita, that when you go to the teacher, do Pariprashna, Sri Krishna says to Arjuna. Ask such questions. Don't go and just sit. Try to be into the subject, and wherever you see that there is opportunity, something is not clear, don't hesitate to ask and clarify the thing. That's why I said Pariprashna is very important. It is the tradition of whole Vedanta that it starts with questioning, with inquiry, with jigyasa. That's the word, jigyasa is the word, inquiry. The very Brahma Sutra, the philosophy of Vedanta, composed by Vyasadeva, it starts with the questioning Athato Brahma Jigyasa. I'll try to elaborate the philosophy of Vedanta by Brahma Jigyasa. May we have inquiry into the knowledge of Brahman. That is how it starts. What is Brahman? How can we get it? What my lifestyle should be to attain that supreme knowledge? Is Brahman worth achievable? Is this world enough to give what I aspire in the heart of my heart? Or I need something more to gain? So all these questions come when you say Brahma Jigyasa. The Jigyasa is Pariprashna. And any question that is needed for us to grow spiritually, which will help me to grow spiritually, which will help me to clear doubts, is called Pariprashna. Once some devotees come to Sri Ramakrishna and Sri Ramakrishna was saying something, the devotee was asking question to clarify. His friend said, oh, he has said, why do you ask again and again? Just accept whatever he has said. Sri Ramakrishna said, no. When he had not been convinced, that person should ask. What is this? Just because Sri Ramakrishna said and you accept, that will not be the real acceptance unless you have clear idea of the thing, unless you are convinced of the answer. So ask questions. Asking question is very much into the tradition of Vedanta. Pariprashna means unceasing quest, going deep into the mysteries of life by raising pertinent questions at every stage. Every stage. It is approaching the subject of study from all possible viewpoints, from every way, all way they're focused on the subject. That's called Pariprashna. Pariprashna is the journey for knowledge through research, man's quest to know the truth, the reality behind all this perceptible phenomenon. That is what the Pariprashna means. When I want to know the reality, then it becomes Pariprashna. And any question that is related to the knowledge of the truth is Pariprashna. It's a specified type of question when we inquire. Pariprashna may not be done with only the teacher. Pariprashna can come in our own hearts. We ask ourselves to clarify the answer. And answer, where will we get? Sometimes our mind, if it is pure, answer comes from it. If it is not pure and our quest is genuine and our questions are really valuable, then opportunity comes, time comes, somebody comes who can really answer it correctly. Let's wait for the time to find that eligible person whom we call teacher, who may be my guru or who may be very holy man or man who has realized and compatible to answer my question. We will approach him by the will of God. talk, and then we can ask the question and clarify it. So sometimes we listen to somebody talk and say, Swamiji, I have many talks, but after listening to you, some of the Swami, listening to you, my all questions are answered. I have no questions left. Because some doubt were there in the process of listening, all Pariprashna are answered. In the Upanishad, it is the student approaches the teacher, and what does the student do? Kasminnu bhagavo vigyate sarvam idam vigyatam bhavati. Question is very great. And he puts it to the teacher, this is Pariprashna, puts to the teacher, Sir, can you teach me that by knowing which everything is known? And what can be that? And the basic thing that constitutes this phenomenal world and the nominal, the unmanifested reality from which the whole this manifested world has come, very basis of that, if that is known, everything is known. If the knowledge of water molecule is known, property of whole water will be known. They say, if you cook rice, you don't have to taste every grain. Just one grain of rice, whether it is cooked or not, then you know all the grains have cooked. So he wants that type of thing. Tasminnu bhagavo vigyate sarvamidam vigyatam bhavati. I want to know this whole thing, whole universe. And even beyond the perceptible universe, I want to know the reality. Can you tell me that by knowing which everything is known? What an intelligent question of the young brahmachari that had come to the teacher and wants to know about the Brahman, about the reality, about the truth that abides always, never changes, never dies. It doesn't die with the crumbling of the universe. That truth remains, and that truth which is ever present is called Brahman. And that Brahman is none other than our own true self. Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. I am Atma Brahma. That the teacher later on says, you are searching for that reality which is always there, by knowing which everything is known. You are that. Tattvamasi Svetaketo. Thou that art. That reality is your true nature. Just try to find out who you are. What you think you are, is that right? You are. You have to find your own reality. And when you know that, you will have found from what that everything is known. When you know yourself, everything else will be known. Nothing else remains unknown. You have raised the very root of knowledge of the truth. Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Sri Ramakrishna always encouraged disciples to question. Question is very much accepted and encouraged in Vedanta, in Hinduism. Questions are many types. When one approaches someone, we can ask in various ways. One is just to test the person, whether that person knows or not, what that person, he or she is speaking is how much depth that person has. I ask that to satisfy my understanding of that person. There is nothing to do about the subject matter. There is no wish to know how much I am benefited for that. I want to judge that person. There are questions like that. Sometimes there are questions just to heckle another person, make him in trouble, and they will enjoy putting him in trouble. Heckling questions. That is not Pariprashna. The first one is also not Pariprashna. Sometimes there are questions where the questioner, rather than trying to know the thing, wants to say how much he or she knows. Often you might have seen, sometimes we often come here question. Before going to the question, there is so many things approaching, that this thing, that thing, and where is the real question wanting to know? But there is more of showing, show off, that I know so much, you are telling me the things, I also know a lot. And finally some question where the real question is hidden, you don't know at all. So that type of question is also there. But these are not Pariprashna. Real Pariprashna is the question done for understanding of the subject. There is never a silly question, dumb question. If it is genuine quest for the knowledge, no silly question. We are at different levels. That doesn't matter. I all have to be at the level of the teacher who is teaching me. I'm maybe at the very base, very first stage, but there is no harm in asking any type of question. So with sincerity and with attitude of knowing the thing, you can ask any question. Viveka Chudamani is all about the question. It begins with the question. The story of Nachiketa. Nachiketa questions his father. Father, you are giving everything, donating everything in your this yajna, but whom are you giving to me? I am also your possession. Whom are you giving to me? Because he saw, the first question arose in the Nachiketa's heart, my father is not doing justice. He is calculating. He is in the name of giving all the cattle and all the property, my father is giving old cows who don't give milk. You are not supposed to do that. You are supposed, when you give something good. You don't give something which is unyielding, unproductive, unuseful for the receiver. But his father was doing that. Nachiketa in the mind gave question, my father is doing that, he will incur sin for that. Instead of getting all the merit, he will incur sin for being very clever, thinking himself to be clever in doing this yajna. Then he went to father to save father. Small boy wants to protect father. Didn't the question come? Lord, whom are you giving to me? Father first said, be quiet. They can say, go away. Third time he asked the question. Then say, I give you to death. So angry father became. Nachiketa, laughing and jumping, he gave you to death. He really went to death. And to death, he had to wait for 3 days. And then when after 3 days he meets death, then again he asked a question. Again he asked a question. And the third question was, in fact, Emma said asked 3 questions. Third question was, is the soul a reality? Is after the death being leave, or everything perishes with the death of the body? The Yama, they just from answering, it's too high a question. Even the gods and angels don't know this. Why are you going for this question? Ask for enjoyment, ask for property, land, wealth, long life. I will give all to you. Don't ask this question. It's very hard, tough question. And Nachiketa, that boy, has Shraddha. That Shraddha, faith in oneself, having self-judgment about self-judgment. He had that faith in oneself, which Swami Vivekananda so much said, Shraddha. Shraddha vivesha so manyata. Having filled with faith, he speaks, if that is so difficult a question when the gods and angels don't know, and having opportunity to approach you, O death, who are the right teacher, I have to ask this question. It is most important, and I can get answer of this question only from you who knows what remains after the death of the body. Is something remains or not? Here all gifts, may you enjoy the gifts. I want the answer to my question. Is there something remaining after body dies, or everything perishes? There is no soul, there is no self, there is no Atma. Yama was so pleased. He was just tasting whether the candidate is fit or not. Adhikari, that's where it comes. Fitness of the student. Otherwise, he will not be able to understand. And he gives his answer. Yes, there is the self which can be known. Which can be known when the self gives you the best. When the self chooses you, you try for that. Practice brahmacharya, practice surrender, practice devotion, practice inquiry into the self. But you may not get by just work, just by practicing. You may have to wait for the grace of God. Viveka Chudamani also starts with a question. The student comes and says, Katham tareyam bhavasindhumetat kava gatirme katamostupaya. Oh great teacher, how will I cross this ocean of this samsara? It's so hard to cross. Is there any way? Katamostupaya, there is upaya for this? Janena kinchit kripaya ma prabhu sansara dukkha kshatimam panushya. I don't know what is the path, what is the way, but this world is great place of suffering. If there is path, please teach me. Tatha vadantam saranagatam sansara dava narataptam. So burning from the suffering of the world, he has come and totally surrendered to the teacher and then ask this question. Surrender and questioning go together. You can ask the question to whom you surrender. You know that he can give the answer. Nachiketa surrendered to Yama, that he will be able to fulfill my queries. He will give me the genuine answer. He is the fit teacher. When he surrendered that I will get the right answer from him, then the answer came from Yama. So, Sharanagati and Pariprashna are really, they go together. You can ask the question, whom you regard as, I will get the answer from you. That person is competent to qualify, competent to really satisfy my quest. Teachers are also like that. In Vivek Chudamani, wonderful description of the teacher. Teacher is not that on an ego. Oh, I can teach the students, I can make them spiritual. That type of feeling of that ego is not fit to be a teacher. Then how will he teach? By their mere presence, by their very nature they teach. And Shankaracharya gives the example of Vasanta. Vasanta manloka hitam charanta. They just come and the flowers just bloom. The spring season. The spring season has no ego that I will come, when I come the flower. Thus it comes in the process and by its presence the flowers bloom. The green leaves come. So like that are the teachers. By their mere presence, by their mere talking, the things, questions are answered, the doubts are removed. They don't have to think, I will remove the doubt. I will do this. No, not out of ego. By their mere presence, by their mere association it happens. And the teacher here says, Ma Vaishta Vidvans Tava Nasti Apaya. Do not be afraid, my dear boy. Vidwan, Sansara Sindhos Taranes Tupaya. There is a way to cross the ocean of samsara. Remember Buddha? He gave 4 noble truths. There is suffering. Suffering is reality. When you have existential, when you are existing as a human being, every being in this world is bound to suffer. Suffering is there. Tapa is there. That's why we say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May that not bother me. What? The trouble, the suffering that comes from the outside by the nature, from the gods, from my own self, my mind and body, may I not be bothered by that. But all the suffering will be there, everything will be there. So Shanti is to be able to endure, to ward off, not to be cowed down by the difficulties that come, be strong enough to face the challenges created by the nature, by other beings, and by my own mind and body. I will digest it, I will challenge it, I will face it. Face the truth, Swami Vivekananda. That's Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Buddha said, suffering is there. There is no suffering. Where is suffering? And you experience suffering. Suffering is there. It's a reality when you are a human being. In this created phenomenal world, suffering is reality. Then Buddha says, and the third, there is a way to go beyond suffering. That's the third noble truth. First is there is suffering. Second, there is cause of the suffering. The third and very important, cause also unclear. The third one is there is a way to get rid of the suffering. Here also it says, Asti Sansara Sindhosti Taranestu Upaya. There is a way where you can go beyond the ocean of samsara. Then what is the way? The teacher says, I want to say you something new. Enaiva yata yatayosya param. People have crossed this ocean of samsara, so many have done. You will be also able to do. And I will relate you the path that has been practiced, tried, trusted. That path I am going to tell you, that he says. Enaiva yata yatayosya param tameva margam tava nirdishami. I will carry you to that path. So, question, then there is answer. And whole of Vivek Chudamani starts from this and ends. The student says, Kvagatam kenava nitam putra leenamidam jagat. This jagat I was seeing, full of suffering, full of challenges, full of problems. Kvagatam, where does it go? Kenava nitam, who took away such world? Adunaiva maya adristam, just now I was experiencing this world. Samsara sagar, I was there. Yenavanitam putra leenamidam jagat adunaiva maya adristam nastikim mahat adbhutam. What a strange thing happened. I don't find this world. It is completely transformed world. It's completely new world. It's all love world. It's all I find. Everyone capable of being loved. Everyone generous, everyone good, everyone kind. Whole attitude, whole vision, whole sight of the person has changed through the teaching of the teacher. Teacher has that power if teacher is genuine. So, self-surrender then comes after that. Self-surrender question. And you totally surrender. Self-surrender is the ultimate virtue a human being can develop. Self-surrender is mukti. When you totally surrender to the will of God, you are liberated, you have been given mukti. You may not know the truth, reality, you may not have got the vision of Brahman, but you have got the mukti because you are free. You are not worried at all, you are totally dependent on the will of God. That's what Girish Ghosh and Sri Ramakrishna relationship. Sri Ramakrishna said to Girish Ghosh, can you do Japam meditation? He said, no, my lifestyle is totally different. Can you just at night before sleeping, can you still remember God and mantra? He said, no, when I sleep, I don't know. When I get up, I don't know. What work I do, I don't know. I cannot do anything of that. Then after all, giving one after another proposals and making it simplified, everything, Girish Ghosh says, no, I cannot do that. Because his life was very indisciplined. But he has faith in Sri Ramakrishna. Faith does miracle. Faith brings surrender. Faith creates a different person from us. And that faith is Shraddha. It's Shraddha in Guru. The Shraddha in Guru came as Shraddha in himself. And he said, Sri Ramakrishna said, then you can't do any practice, then give me the power of attorney. Gopalma. I will do for you. But I am responsible, but you are totally under me. You cannot do anything. Remember that. He said, oh, that is very easy. Then you will do everything for me, you will do japam for me, you will do meditation for me. I will do nothing. Just, I will do for you. Give me the power of attorney. He said, okay, done. Later on, Girish Ghosh says, it was so difficult, I didn't understand. Power of attorney, giving total surrender, is when you always realize whether am I doing according to the will of God, will of my Guru or not. Everything. Once Girish Ghosh said, I will do, don't worry, I will do that. Sri Ramakrishna was there. You can't say that. You have to say, God willing, I will do. There is no I, because you have given completely to God, completely to me. That's called power of attorney giving. That's called Sharanagati. That's called total self-surrender. When total self-surrender is there, every moment you are with God. Every moment you think whether this thing is according to the will of God or not. You have no your own thought. Your thought becomes one with the thought of God. You cannot have ego at all. Total Sharanagati is complete removal of our unright ego. It's not easy. It's difficult. That's why it is mukti. Your ego is gone. Nothing that I will do, I am this, nothing is there. You are totally with God. Surrender leads to jigyasa. Then you get connected with God. Then you go connected with the questions. There are questions with unripe ego, as I was saying, and questions with ripe ego. That is called Pariprashna. Once, about Durga Puja, there was the Brahmo Samaj influence was there in Bengal, and they didn't like worshipping God in a statue, in an image, in a clay image. So Yam studied, the English studied person, had the influence of Brahmo Samaj. He said, why people worship and dance and offer, and the statue is made of clay. So he came to Sri Ramakrishna and said, why people worship that Durga image? Sri Ramakrishna said, why Durga image? God manifests there. What is harm in worshipping there? But that is made of clay. Says, yeah, you are reasoning, not Pariprashna. That is made of clay. You are arguing, you are contradicting. But that is made of clay. But Sri Ramakrishna said, that is made of clay, but they worship God through the image. Still, you have been not relenting. He said, then people should teach those who do worship, the leaders of spirituality, should teach the public that it is not the image that is worshipped, it is God worshipped through the image. Why don't people clarify this? Then Sri Ramakrishna says sharply, who are you to teach people? If God wills, God will teach people. Why do you say it is clay image? You see clay. But the people who worship see God, Chinmayi. It is not Mrinmayi for them, it is Chinmayi, it is manifestation of God. She accepts food, she accepts flower, she accepts prayer. For you it is made of clay, for them it is made of consciousness, Chinmayi. Then he said, my ego was pounded. And then Sharanagati comes. Never after that he argued with Sri Ramakrishna. But he did stop from Pariprashna. He didn't have unripe question, unripe ego question, but he had ripe ego question, Pariprashna, how to clear. Once he asked, can a householder try to increase the earning? To know really genuine question, not that he had in his mind that is right or wrong. So Sri Ramakrishna said, yes, of course one should try to earn a right livelihood with the right means. By earning money, more money, you will be able to serve God and the holy person in a better way. More you can serve, that's how he says. So, to have that, to transform ourselves, we need to approach the teacher. That's why in the Gita, chapter 4, the verse comes, that Vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. Approach the teacher. And then, what type of teacher? Tattvadarshi teacher, who has reached the goal, who is capable of guiding you, who is free from all ego, selfishness, desire for name and fame. It established that his purpose is to do good to the world. That much he wants, and that also God wanted him to do that. To that teacher you approach, and then what you do? Three things. Tat vidhi, know the truth. Tat means truth. Tat vidhi, vidhi means know. How to know? Tat pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. First pranipata. Pranipata means, nipata is surrendering. Doing prostration, surrendering totally. Surrender makes you feel that I have to gain. Not that I also know. You become empty yourself. Your blotting paper is fully dry. It is not filled with other ink. Then it won't soak. If it is filled with any liquid, water, how the blotting paper will work? The blotting paper sponge is totally dry. It is ready to accept what the teacher says. That is pranipata, surrender. Then pariprashna. Ask questions, clear your doubts. Oh, the beehive, and then the honey drips. Ask questions. Our Swami Kripamayananda was 11th president of our order. Whenever the gathering used to be there, first thing was ask some questions. Then you understand how much the people want to really listen, how much they have the inquiry, what type of things, what their level is. Then he will talk according to that. He was one of the most erudite monk of our order. So many books he has written. Holy Mother's life first, genuine in whole life, Swami Kripamayananda has written. So many things. History of Ramakrishna Math's mission, book of hymns in Sanskrit, in Bengali script, it is written by him. So many books on the life of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, apostles of Sri Ramakrishna, all are done by him. So he used to ask questions, then he can talk that way. But vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena. Then the third quality Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, and through Arjuna to all of us, sevaya. And serve. Surrender, that is, be ready to accept. Then inquiry, whatever questions you have, don't hesitate to ask. And then serve. You have to go all these three things, then you will know the knowledge, you know the truth. That then you will get. And what is this service? Service to Guru is The greatest service is to listen what Guru says. Guru says, do japam and try to meditate on God. Do that. That is service. That pleases Guru most. Another is when you have Guru, can do some personal service, some whatever you like, that might be if Guru live with Guru, some personal service also you can do. But service also means how you should live in the world, that also as Guru wants. Be friendly to all, be truthful, be kind in your heart, don't be egoistic, don't say that man is not good, that man is not right. Don't just be judging to all. So that also comes under the service of Guru, because all that pleases Guru, as Guru has been pleased if you press his feet. Rather, Guru will be pleased more by following his teaching and becoming a better spiritual seeker than by doing his personal service. Once one Swami had come and people were all pressing his feet. Two people came and were pressing feet. Then two more came and then they started pressing hand. And two more came, so some forearm, some upper arm, like that he was doing. And after that everything was done, for every limb was being done. Then another person comes. Then Swamiji was so kind. He said, I have no other limb, all are done, 2% doing each limb. So now he pressed my head. And he made it clear, I am not asking that for you. I have no interest in massaging my feet and legs. I am doing it for your sake. Sometimes like that, the teachers are so great that they allow devotees, disciples to do service. Swami Sharanagati was Holy Mother disciple, head of our Vedanta Society in Portland, Oregon, for many years. His talks were all about Holy Mother. Once he was very sick, and one devotee, his disciple, a little strayed from him. Somehow, some argument, something happened, he was not seen. Then he said, I have not seen that disciple, call him. So he was in some other city. When he heard that Swami is calling, he came rushing. And then Swami said, oh my, this shirt is little old, it seems, can you just change this, my shirt? So devotee was very happy. After a long time he came and he knew that so much love Swamiji always had, he never forgotten him. And then he changed it and he was happy. So after that he came out and met other devotees. And then he was very happy that Swamiji allowed him to serve him. He wanted to change and he invited him to talk with him. And that person said, Swamiji just wanted you to serve him, or that he asked him to change the dress. Why do you say that? He asked. Because I changed it a few minutes ago. Just to give him an opportunity to serve, personal service. That is also it's ennobling, so giving happiness, and also it gives so much joy to serve the Guru. That disciple remains now also, this day also, after so many years he passed away. So this personal service is also, if we could do, that's fine. They are so graceful that they allow us when they are doing, when they are told. If they have gone, the best service is that to follow their teachings and try to raise our spiritual life as high as we could do, as connected to God as we could do, as connected to the spiritual practice as we could do, as being friendly to all as we could do, as being enduring to the challenges that come I could do, as we could control our speech and not say ill about others as we could do. That all comes under the service, Pariprashna, Sevaya. All these three done together, then will progress to the spiritual life. One devotee, one person came, he wanted to be disciple of the teacher. He went and had a very easy life, and somehow he thought nothing was working, so he thought, I want to be a disciple of this Guru, I think that will work. So he went there and the teacher saw the boy and literally taught his book and said, oh, you want to be disciple? But disciple have to do a lot of things. They have to collect food, they have to clean the ashram and cook food, after that they fetch water and they clean pots. Then he thought, oh, so much disciple have to do. And then what Guru does? The Guru does nothing, he sits and just speaks that much. Then can I request you to make me guru instead of making me disciple? So many are there. They want to be guru, not the disciple. But this guru went through so much of discipleship. You see, so much of discipleship. Guru had that type of thing. Sometimes as they were being read in Swaranji's book, in the reading in the morning, that they sometimes give you some question, they ask you some question, and every question, everything that they do has a meaning and purpose. Swami Sharanagati, the 10th president of our order, and the brahmachari had gone to take bath in Ganga. Swami Brahmanandaji was there, the first president of the Ramakrishna order, brother disciple of Swami Vivekananda, whom Swami Vivekananda said is more spiritual than myself. So, after Vivekananda came from Ganga, Swami Brahmanandaji said, can you go and test whether the water in Ganga is salty or not salty or not? Because in Ganga in Calcutta, when there is the tide water coming from the ocean, it becomes salty. When it flows from down, and it becomes sweet, it becomes fresh. Vivekananda said, Maharaj, I tasted while taking a sip, I took a sip and I found it was not salty. Vivekananda said, I didn't ask you how is the taste of the water. I said, can you go and taste the water whether it is salty or not? He again went down and tasted and found it was not salty, came up. Maharaj was there and said, Maharaj, I went down and tasted it was not salty, but Maharaj didn't have to listen anything. It was not, he wanted to know how the water is. He wanted to train the disciple that when it is told to do you something, do it exactly the way it is said. Swami Yoganandaji wanted Sri Ramakrishna's room. And they had some cockroach entered there. All open, the rooms are all open, doors open, windows open, like that. From outside it had come. Sri Ramakrishna said to Yogananda, go and kill this cockroach, go out and kill this. Yogananda had very tender heart. He could not kill anything. And he went there and outside and he left the cockroach. The cockroach was removed. He came in. Sri Ramakrishna categorically asked, did you kill the cockroach? He didn't think that Sri Ramakrishna would ask if he was to remove the cockroach from the room, but he asked. He said, no, Thakur, I let it go. But I asked you to kill the cockroach. Go outside and kill the cockroach. If you do not listen to me in simple things, when I say meditate for 500 times, that also you will have your own mind and utilize that way. What is said in spiritual life, you have to listen to the Guru, what it exactly said. Just to teach that, Sri Ramakrishna asked Yoganandaji, whom he knew was a very tender and kind heart, asked him to go and kill the cockroach. That's what they teach. When Sharanagati comes, like this thing happens. And this, Yoganandaji must have told this story. Sri Ramakrishna didn't tell, it is not in the Gospel, that how I was trained by Sri Ramakrishna and everything. Sharanagati also says about dangers in spiritual life, two dangers when we progress in spiritual life. One is we tend to get fanatic. My path alone is right, others are not wrong. My path is the best. My path is the best for me. Other person's path is the best for him or her. We have to be that liberal. Otherwise, there is every danger of being fanatic in spiritual life. Another danger in spiritual life being self-centered. I somehow want to be devotee of God. I don't care for other people. Somehow I have to meditate, somehow I have to be clean, somehow it's only related to me, being self-centeredness. That is also non-spiritual for a spiritual seeker. So we have to be careful about this thing. Sri Ramakrishna said about the qualified teacher. Who is the real teacher? How to know the real teacher? And Sri Ramakrishna said, one who is directly ordained by the Divine Mother, by God. He is the teacher. Another who wants to preach, who wants to show as the teacher. The teachership in spiritual life and egotism doesn't go. One who has the ego, wants to promote himself or herself as a great spiritual teacher, wants to have name and fame, or wants to have a lot of wealth, raised by that, he gets a lot of pranami, So that cannot be the teacher. That's one test of the teacher. It's very difficult to find. That's why you don't find, and we get into the culture of the people who have a lot of mainly worldly desires, and they take the spirituality as the means to fulfill worldly desires to become rich and famous. So self-surrender, what it does, after saying in a few minutes, self-surrender is very important. As I said, it is mukti. If you can do total self-surrender, it gives us strength that one is protected. Girish Ghosh had total self-surrender. And he was not afraid of anyone. What other people will say, what will happen, people will become unhelpful to me. He knew that Sri Ramakrishna is always with him. His Guru is always with him. He is totally dependent on Guru and independent of the world. Dependent on God and independent of the world. That type of power protection comes. When it is self-surrender, one is not afraid of what others say about him or her. Self-surrender brings a feeling of love. God loves me. When that happens, where you are alone, the problem of feeling nobody is there with me, I am lonely, that loneliness problem goes. I am always with God. God is always there protecting me, loving me. The feeling of being loved is always there. Self-surrender, when it comes, can forbear suffering as a gift of the beloved. Who gave this problem? God wants to do, that's fine. It's okay. I little need pain, God wants, fine. So everything's bad. No problem. No worry and crying, oh, why did I have that? God wants me to suffer. There must be some reason, there must be some purpose. Karma or God's will, whatever you say, accept. So doctor, there's no doubt, go to physio, but please also don't go. When old age comes, some diseases are there, they just start to stay, and they will be cured only at the cremation ground when they will go away. So let that remain. What is there? God wants that. Somehow I will manage. Managing the life with the help of God. And Holy Mother saying, all suffering are the grace of God. This the individual suffering, last adhyatmic suffering. Self-surrender, though, is not easy and it's difficult because it takes away our ego and we don't want to give up our ego. People here used to say individuality. Swami Vivekananda used to make fun of their saying, what will happen to my individuality if I merge in Brahman? And Swami said, you are always very cautious of your individuality. He used to say, it's so big ego you have and you are always afraid. But where do you merge? Are you merging in something else or are you merging in your own real self? When we have the knowledge of the true self, then we understand and analyze that we are so big, vast, huge, never dying, ever present, ever full of bliss. That is the merging, that is the transformation. We don't transform from something, one thing to something other, but we just realize who we are. That is the self-realization. That vidhi, that is the knowing the truth. That vidhi, how to do that? Paripadena, Pariprasna, and sevaya. Upadikchintite jnanam, jnaninas, tattvadarshana. The person of knowledge who have realized the truth, then they will guide you. If you have these three qualities. So, self-surrender and Pariprashna, they are complementary to each other. When we have self-surrender, then only we can do Pariprashna. We can really want to know from the person, and it is possible. And with all things, whatever questions we have, when we read the books, if we read Swami Vivekananda's works, many of our all questions will be answered, Pariprashna will be all answered. You read Gospel, you find so many answers, so many your doubts, questions are being answered. When the Gita, Sri Krishna said the Gita, and at the end he said in the 18th chapter, he said, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanagati, give full 100% absolute surrender to me and give up every other thought of what is good and what is bad. Sarva Dharman Parityajya, all dharma you give up. Surrender to me, I am there to protect you. Aham tva sarva papebhyo moksheshyami. No sin will happen to you, you do nothing wrong. I will make you do everything what is right. I will be there to guide you. Just you have to have complete surrender to me. And after saying all that, Sri Krishna Arjuna said at the end, Nasto moha smriti ladvat prasadam maya chita. Oh Achyuta, oh Krishna, my moha, delusion, is gone by your grace, tat prasada. And what happened? How did delusion go? Smritin labdhva, I have regained the memory. All knowledge in us. Your teaching just helped to regain my memory of the truth. Smritin labdhva, I heard so many things, but just got deluded. Cloud had come, sun was not being seen. You helped me through the teaching of your Gita. My memory has come back. I am no more deluded. I will do the duty as the agent of God, whatever is to be done. And I know nothing wrong will ever touch me if I do in a non-attached way. Performing the action in non-attached way, devotion to God, serving to fellow human beings, and what else we have to do? Every human being, and not being judgmental to others. Just we grow